Hey, what's up everybody? This is Quet, and in today's video we're going to be starting a new series where we'll be starting on the very basics of programming. We're going to be starting here on HTML, gradually moving into CSS, and then moving into JavaScript and seeing where we go from there. So this video is for newer developers that are looking into getting into programming. If you are a little bit more advanced, I would still recommend maybe watching this video, maybe the next video in the series, seeing how you like it, seeing if you feel like this would have definitely helped you if you were new to programming, and taking that and passing this video or this channel on to somebody that's newer in programming so that they're able to watch these videos and get some help and get into the start their coding journey. So with that said, today's video is going to be on the HTML skeleton. We'll be putting our first words on the HTML page, creating an HTML page, and displaying it in a browser. Um, so a couple things that you will need to get started with this video is a text editor. I highly recommend Visual Studio Code. It is my text editor of choice. You can of course use any other text editor that you would like. You can I think there's a text editor that's built into most PCs and Macs. You can use Atom, you can use Sublime Text. Anyone will do. However, if you want to follow along exactly with me, like I said, I recommend Visual Studio Code. You can Google Visual Studio Code and download it from their website. So with that said, we're going to get started. Once you have your text editor set up and ready to go, I would open a new page. I would open the text editor and uh, sorry, and I would start by opening a new file here at the top. You can use new file. If you are familiar with using the terminal, then of course you can use the terminal to get yourself set up. If you're wondering what a terminal is or how to use it, I do have a video on the intro to the terminal. I would definitely recommend checking that out, and I'll link that in the description. And there's also in Visual Studio Code, there's a couple of buttons right here if you come over to the side. One is a plus sign with a page or a piece of paper, and it says new file. You can click that to create a new file as well. And we want to call this file index.html. Index.html is kind of the default naming for a HTML page. Um, for the home HTML page, this is the page that's going to be displayed as soon as somebody goes to your website. So with that said, let's get started on creating this. So if you're not familiar with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, let me just give you a little bit of background on what they are. So HTML is kind of the structure for your web page. If you were to look at HTML as a person, the HTML would literally be the body of the person. It'll be the skeleton, the organs, all of that kind of stuff. It's what makes the person a person for the most part. So CSS is more of the styling of the website, and that'll be more like the clothes that the person wears, their personality. You know, maybe they're a little more flashy and they like to wear more accessories, or maybe they're just more laid back and kind of plain, but that's their style, right? And then JavaScript is the logic. So that's the brain of the person. That'll literally be the person's brain. So if you want to break down HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, I think that's a pretty good example of what it is. So with that said, let's go and start making our first HTML page. So HTML has tags or elements that create a web page. The first one that we're going to make here is the HTML element. However, to create that, we need to start with something called doc type. So we're going to use opening angle bracket here, exclamation point, and then in all caps, doc type, and then space, HTML, and a closing angle bracket. So what this does is it tells your browser that you're going to be using a HTML5, you're going to be using an HTML page, and it's going to be HTML5. The doc type lets the browser know that's HTML5, and the HTML tag here is saying this is HTML. We don't need to go any further into that. Just know whenever you're starting an HTML page, it starts with this and everything else is written between it. So once you've done that, you're going to need to click enter twice, start another opening angle bracket, right, forward slash HTML, and then a closing bracket. So we're good to go here. So far, so good. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create something, a new tag, a new HTML element called head. So you start your opening bracket, type the word head, your closing bracket, and if you look at my screen, you see that I have, it automatically creates another tag that also says head, but it has that forward slash beforehand. Um, so if you don't have that, that's perfectly fine. That's a plugin that I have. I'll try to write that in the description for the video. But this is how you close out an HTML tag. You need to start it. Most HTML tags are not self-closing. You need to create the tag, create a closing tag that's represented with this forward slash, and then you'll write all of your HTML markup inside of that tag. So also another thing, HTML is a markup language. Um, it's just a fancy way of saying that it's not officially a programming language. But don't let that say that you're not a programmer or anything because you use a lot of HTML. You are a developer. You're definitely taking the right steps towards becoming a better developer by learning HTML. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of on a tangent. Just know that you need to write all of your code or markup in between your HTML tags, and they all need to have a closing tag, or most of them need to have a closing tag. We'll get into those details a little in another video. So once you have your head tag, what goes inside of the head tag is primarily metadata, which is basically data about data and information for the browser and for search engines when they come crawling your website. They can come and grab some data so they know how to index your website and how to present it on Google and stuff of that nature. And you can also link your CSS and your JavaScript files. We're not going to be going into that today. Just know that later on in this series, we're going to be talking about CSS and HTML and and JavaScript. And this is likely where you'll put most of those links. So now that we've gone over that, there is one thing that we are going to put inside of the head tag today, and that's a title. So far we've kind of just written everything on separate lines as soon as the line begins. But here we're going to hit the tab button and then we're going to have our angle bracket. We're going to write out the word title, the closing tag, and as you can see, mine self-closes by itself because of my plugin, but you're likely going to have to go ahead and write that closing tag yourself. So now that we have that, this is going to be the title of your website or your web page, and here you're going to just write out a title, literally write out a title. So we're going to write first page, and then we're going to save that. You can use Control S or Command S depending on if you're using a Mac or a PC. I'm a Mac user. I barely remember how to use a PC, so a lot of my references are going to be towards PC. So forgive me if I say command a lot. Just know that that's control for a PC. So if you control save, we've saved our page. If you take a look at my web browser here, we have the Google homepage open, and if you look right here on the tab, you see right next to the logo, it says Google. That is the title for the Google website. They have a title tag, and in between it, they've written Google. And we're gonna see that when we open up our page later on in the video. That is all the title tag does. And now we've written out the doc type. I would kind of think of that as the backbone to the web page. The head I would think of as the head. It holds a lot of information there, so it's the head. And the next thing is the body. So with that said, we know that the body goes below the head. And so we're gonna start a body tag, and we're gonna do it the same exact way we did the head tag. We're gonna write body, and then you're gonna make your closing body tag, click enter, and here this is where you write all of your this is where you write the content that's gonna be on the website. And today we're gonna write something on the site, get something up there. But the body tag is where you'll write all of the content for your site. This is where everything that the user sees when they come to visit your website. There's not too much more to go into outside of that. And with that said, I'm going to introduce one more HTML tag to you today, and that is the paragraph tag. So the paragraph tag literally just displays paragraphs. It displays stuff to the end user. And to create a paragraph tag, you have your opening angle bracket, type the letter P, closing angle bracket, closing angle bracket, and then like the other tags that we have, you have to have your closing tag as well. So with the paragraph tag, you can write all of your data on the same line if you want. You can separate it. I think it just makes more sense for what we're about to do, which is just write a quick sentence just to keep it all on the same line. Um, so you may notice that so far we have a lot of stuff aligned straight down the middle, and we have some stuff that's tagged over. That's called encapsulation. So most of the time when you have tags inside of tags, you're going to tab over one time for the tag that's inside of the other tag. It just makes the site a lot more readable, and it makes your code a lot more readable for both yourself and for others that may be collaborating with you. Um, and so, with this doc type, with the HTML tag, and the head tag and the body tag, those are kind of just tags that don't need to be tabbed over, but the content inside of it should be. And so, with that said, most tutorials and websites that kind of get you started with coding will tell you to start with a Hello World app. I personally think that Hello World is kind of boring, so we're gonna put a little more excitement into it. And since we're starting on coding, we're starting our coding journey and getting into becoming developers, and we're learning HTML today. I think we should just put it's lit. If I could type. And we're also just throwing a few flame emojis in there. Why not? So we have our flame emojis. I'll just copy and paste about three of those. And then you can click Command Save and save that. And there's a couple different ways that we can display this inside of your web browser. If you're in Visual Studio Code, you should be able to right click on this and there should be a button to open it inside of your browser. However, for some reason, I'm like the only person that does not have that option. So, if you're like me and don't have that option, you can also click Copy Path. Don't just click the copy button, click Copy Path. That's the one that you're gonna want. If you do know about using a terminal or if you watch my video on the command line, then you can also use open index.html. And in this video, like I just copied the path, we're just gonna go to your browser, go to a tab, and we're gonna paste it in, click enter, and there we go. We have it's lit displayed on the page with our flame emojis or whatever you decide to write. And then here, if we look at our tab, we have first page displayed here as our title, just like I said we would. And there we go. Congratulations, you've created your first HTML page. So this is going to be the end of today's video. If you're new to the channel, I definitely appreciate it if you went ahead and clicked the subscribe button. There will be new videos coming out for this series on a regular basis, and it definitely helps grow the channel. It helps more people see these videos so that they can get help with their coding. I have videos for people that are newer to coding, people that are more intermediate as well. I don't think I really have any advanced videos. Yeah, I guess I do have a few advanced videos, but I have videos for pretty much everybody, and getting that content out to more people so that they can learn what I would love nothing more. Also, liking this video also helps produce the same results. And if you're new to the channel and you plan on watching these videos on a regular basis, there's also a bell icon on the page that you can hit to get updates whenever new videos are posted. And you can get those videos on this series as well as other videos that I'll be posting that's a little more in depth. Even if you don't understand exactly what's going on, there's nothing wrong with watching them and kind of learning and just get the gears turning and get prepared to understand that content in the future. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.